All right, we got a win. Thank God. That was. I wouldn't say tense because I was like kind of. I wasn't quite as emotionally invested in this one as I was last week, but man, that was a fun win and a fun game. Um, um, Wait, where do we begin on this one? It was almost the same goddamn game as last week because we had almost the same lead at halftime. Very similar situation in the end to towards the end of the game. Um, but man, all right, let's just big star today. Dalvin Cook, amazing game from Dalvin Cook. Um, I'm sure this stat will come up at some point somewhere. He had to have had his most yards after contact ever because he had so many runs today where he got hit early and then just kept going for like 5, 6, 7, 8 yards. I mean, it was just fantastic game from Dalvin Cook. Absolutely. Um, you know, like you can argue about whether or not you should pay a running back that kind of money. I mean, he earned his money today. Like we saw it in fine fashion today. That's what Dalvin Cook can do for you in a football game. And he got a couple touchdowns, and then he helped him burn off the clock. Not he didn't burn off all of it, but he helped him burn off a lot of the clock. Um, Kirk, kind of a quiet Kirk game. It wasn't, he was definitely more in the game manager mode today. But he was pretty good. People online are bitching about that he missed the one. He kind of missed on one throw. That would have been a touchdown to Thielen. It would have been called back by a holding penalty anyway. And then the play where they were driving to could have, if they've converted a first down, they would have been able to basically run on the clock right then. And he threw one down the sideline to Thielen. Should have been caught, in my opinion. It wasn't. I mean, it didn't quite hit. It didn't hit Thielen in the hands, but it hit him somewhere. And it's either you got to make the catch or you got to get bumped by the draw the flag. You draw that. That would have worked too. So I'm watching the Browns maybe blow it on red zone here, or maybe not blow it on red zone because they just got a touchdown. So never mind. Another really good game from Jefferson. He had a couple of he had one second half that was kind of like in double coverage, and he went up and grabbed. I mean, he's amazing. I mean, he's gonna be a superstar receiver for a long time. Pretty good game from Thielen. Rudolph had one or two good catches in there. Madison got a touchdown. A good game from the offense. I mean, I'm not gonna say, oh, Gary Kubiak, all is forgiven, because he still had some of his issues, like even the Thielen play that wasn't made. Why is that the call? I said before the play is like that's the biggest play call of the season, and he calls a one-on-one sideline thing to a covered Thielen. But I wouldn't, like, if I didn't have the pre-existing anger towards Kubiak, I wouldn't be coming out with anything negative about Kubiak today. He was fine. It wasn't like overly creative stuff, and Houston has a really bad run defense, so of course you're going to run Cook a lot. But Kubiak didn't fuck anything up today, so that's we'll say that's the progress. Is Kubiak at least didn't fuck anything up today. They did a little better finishing. As Zimmer always says, finishing the game. They didn't keep the ball. They got it back with like 5 something left, and they punted it back with like little over 2 left. So they didn't finish the game in that way, but it wasn't a 3 and out or anything. They at least took some of the time off. Offensive line was not good again. I mean, but whatever. I mean, it just kind of is what it is. Although they didn't. Kirk got sacked like I want to say 3 times maybe. I might be wrong on that. One was kind of on him because he probably should have thrown it away. He actually had a good pocket on one and ended up getting sacked on it. He was probably so shocked that he had a good pocket that he didn't know what to do. But it was a good game from Kirk. I'm not, the haters are. I mean, I might have to do a whole separate thing on the whole people who are mad that the Vikings just won, and we're getting mad that they were winning today. Fuck all you people. You are not fans of the Vikings. I'm sorry. You are not fans of the Vikings. If you are mad that they won this game today, and if you were mad that they were winning, 31-16 at one point there, I'm sorry, and I don't give a fucking. And if any of the tank Nazis find this video and are mad at me, you can go fuck yourself, because you are not fans. You are not fans of the Vikings if you were mad that they've won this game now. Like, oh my God, we lost Trevor Lawrence. Fuck off. But yeah, I'm in a good mood. So, but defense. Okay, I mentioned it. I did like a little video at the end of the game. Late in the first half, Texans are driving. Watson throws a pass over the middle to whatever receiver. Harrison Smith comes in. Looks like it's going to be one of those bang bang plays. Smith, you can see on the replay very clearly. His head's lowered, but he turns away. He turns away. Specifically, so he isn't hitting him with the helmet, so he's not doing helmet to helmet. Receiver lowers his helmet, nails Smith, and they not only throw the flag on Harrison Smith for spearing, they eject him from the fucking game. Absolute fucking bullshit. They eject him for a helmet to helmet hit that was not a helmet to helmet hit. If anyone's helmet made contact, it was the fucking receiver lowering his helmet, and that's supposed to be fucking illegal too. But they throw Harrison Smith out of the game, out of the goddamn game, and the whole game changed really from that point. I mean, they held him to a field goal on that drive there. So it was 17-12 at the half. It was almost the same score at the half as this week as last week, so I'm getting mixed up. I think it was 17-9 this week. But you take one of the best players on a defense that's already very shorthanded, especially in the secondary, and you take him out of the game for bullshit. That was a horrible fucking call, and I saw that piece of shit Mike Pereira get on there and talk about, this was a good call. Yeah, Mike Pereira is paid to go on TV a few times every Sunday and gaslight the audience into believing that terrible officiating is actually very good. But no, that was an appalling call. Wrong in every way you can be wrong. And it took Smith out of the game. And the two Texans touchdowns that they got in the second half were both because in replacing Smith, we bring in George Iloka, more like I ought to be looking for alternative employment because he was horrible. There was the first one he got beat on for a wide open touchdown. Then the second one was like a 4th and 10. That's another spot where they could have just ended the game right there. 4th and 10, up 15 points. And they show on the replay, there's a guy in the back of the corner of the end zone for Houston. Ioka just leaves him there to go, wander the world or something. I don't know what the hell was going on. Wide open touchdown, and that kept the game alive. But again, Ioka stinks. Whatever. I know they brought him in a couple years ago because it was he's got experience with Zimmer's defense. Well, that ain't worth it. So, but he was just awful, and he single-handedly was keeping the Texans in the game because the rest of the defense played really well today. Um, you can say it like, and I know everyone's going to say, "Oh, the Texans are winless." Well, they were big reason why they were winless is because they played Baltimore, Kansas City, and someone else who was really good. Um, so it's not like they were 0-3 coming in playing scrubs, and neither were the Vikings for that matter. But um, very dangerous quarterback. They still have some weapons. They still have weapons on offense, but the defense was playing really good, and they got by far the most pressure that they've gotten in any game this year. DJ Wanham got his first sack. Adenabo got a sack. I think they might have gotten one or two other sacks. But they made a lot of plays. Kendricks made made a great play. Even Gladney made a play. Like, they got burned a couple on one or two deep balls again. Although again, this was all like after Harrison Smith got knocked out of the game. But again, it's like those like little incremental improvements in the defense, and we saw it again today. Like, they're getting better. Like, Dancer played; he was out there a lot. Gladney was out there the whole game, and they were doing okay, and they were getting pressure, and that helps. And so yeah, they were doing pretty good on defense today. I'm in a good mood now. I still know next week it's gonna be brutal in Seattle, but we'll cross that bridge when we come to it. But yeah, it was a good game for the defense, and and then we saw it at the end of the game, which I decided to do a little video just for the end of the game, but they kind of handled that perfectly. I mean, ultimately, I would have called a timeout. Like, I was kind of screaming, like, call timeout. They ended up calling 2 timeouts, but they could have called 3. But the way it worked out was, it didn't matter. But I would have, had the Texans scored and tied it with the 2, you weren't going to have much time. You either were going to be saving your timeouts but have no time to use them, or you were going to basically have no timeouts and be in kind of a real hurry-up mode. But we never had to deal with that today, so that was nice. And they made the, look, they got lucky on the last play for sure. I mean, ball moved a little bit on the ground. But they made the plays before that. Like, they had 1st and goal, and then they stuffed them at the goal line twice. So, like, they made the plays there to make it so that it had to be like a more like a low percentage fade into the end zone. So, they earned the win. I'm sure all the fucking people who hate the Vikings in the media and the fans who are not fans, who I've previously addressed, they'll be like, oh, well, they only won because of that call. It's like, no, they made the plays to win the game, and they might not have gotten the 2 either, even if they had held that touchdown up. But I mean, this was, for the most part, I was so heartbroken last week because for the most part, they played good. They played better than Tennessee, and they should have won. Today, they were definitely the better team for the whole game. So if they hadn't won this, it would have been extra heartbreaking. But they got the win. I mean, it's always, it's like, God, even if you are one of these fucking tank Nazis, don't go 0-16. Get a win. Get some wins. So I mean, it's October. We've been waiting since, we didn't get one of these in September. We might not get another one for a while. I mean, I guess in 2 weeks we host Atlanta, so that certainly could be a win. But it's like, root for your team to win a game. Stop being one of these. I almost feel like that's like a separate rant, maybe a separate video of just these people. You're not fans. If you're like I said before, if you're mad now, if you're upset that the Vikings won this game, if you're upset that they played well, if you're mad that Kirk played well, you're not a fan. You're just not. I'm happy. This is a good this is a good day for Vikings fans, for true Vikings fans, because we got a win. It was an entertaining game. We played well on all sides. We got the Mike Boone nailed the return guy for the Texans and forced a fumble, and that led to one of our scores. I think it was a field goal, but like they played good all the way around. They did miss a field goal, but it was a long one, a real long one. That was probably a mistake by Zimmer to even try it in that situation because it wouldn't have made that big of a difference on the scoreboard. But like it all worked out. We got the win, and everybody played good, and we got a lot of good days from all the stars. And we could be the Cowboys, who just got a 49 burger run up on us by the Cleveland Browns. But yeah, it's a good win. I mean, you can say what you want about the Texans, but and they might be having their own blow up season, tank season, whatever you want to call it, soon. But that's a playoff team you beat. I don't see how they could possibly beat Seattle next week. I mean, Russell Wilson, I think they won again today. Where's this? Yeah, there's the score. Yeah, Russell Wilson, they beat Miami. So Russell Wilson had another big game. I don't see how you can beat them, but they don't have a great defense in Seattle. So the Vikings should be able to put up points themselves. I mean, they did last year. That was, 37-30. So, they're huge underdogs in Seattle next week. I don't think they're going to beat Seattle. I don't think there's too much hope that they can beat Seattle. But there's no fans there. That'll help. I mean, normally that's such a hard place to play, largely because of the fans. That won't be a problem this year, so maybe. Like, I give them like a 5% chance. It's really low chance that they can win that one. But, look, I think they'll put up some points next week for sure. So true Vikings fans, let's celebrate the win, and the fake fans, you can go find the nearest highway and play in the traffic.